Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryan Douglas from the Earth Heroes TV platform, and I'm joined today with Dr. Espen. And we've got a really exciting conversation to open up because we got an interview coming very shortly with Santos Bonacci, who is the founder of the Syncretism Academy, which he's releasing later in this year. But he's a man of great experience and fantastic wisdom and knowledge by predating some of the theological, historical information to really understanding who we are, what is at our essence and what is at our core. And unfortunately, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. Just let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. But when he's not with us today, unfortunately, but today's an exciting conversation because we get to explore, some of the deeper questions around what we would like to ask him. And I just want to introduce Dr. Espen. Of course, many of you will know, but I just want to share a short story. It was only a couple of months ago now. I was in the car with Dr. Espen and we're driving back from Townsville QX event, and we were heading straight to Cairns for a huge breathwork session where 160 people showed up on the beach, and it was getting later on in the evening. We just had a massive day of breathwork with people in Townsville, and Dr. E delivered an incredible event down there. Huge transformations and breakthrough people had. But as we're driving up, we still wanted to soak up some of this, good juice and this good information and this wisdom. And so Dr. E started playing some of this Santos Bonacci videos, and I was totally blown away. I was absolutely enthralled and loved what he had to share. And so here we are 2 months later. We've got an interview lined up with him very shortly that we're excited to share with you. And Dr. Espen, I'm really curious to see, your perspective, what you're interested to learn, what questions you have arriving for him, and maybe give us a little bit more of a breakdown on Mr. Bonacci and his life, why he's so significant and what he has to share.
Definitely. First of all, for those of you watching, comment in the chat section. Let us know what you're excited to learn about. And as we go through this, learning a bit more about Santos, learning a bit more about syncretism and this thing called AstroTheology, I'd love to hear from you as to what questions you would ask. I'm excited, Shay, as you said, like Shay and I geek out on this whole thing. And the thing that really excites me about Santos' work is he's been studying astrotheology, which combines the science of, for 30 years, Santos has been looking into how does ancient works and research and compiling the translation of ancient texts in understanding astrotheology, so theology and astrology and the movement of the planets and, scriptures and ancient science as in the origin of all things. And the reason why Santos' work, when he came, basically, when I was introduced to this work, I was blown away because I understood that there is so much more to this picture than what's being told. There is so much more to this than what we know, and so much of ancient history has been hidden. I'll give you an example. Like the history books, we know a lot of the stuff that's in the history books is not correct. One of which, I'll give you an example, how Christopher Columbus discovered America. Well, that's BS. The Vikings discovered America long before Christopher Columbus. And that is just one of the thousands of incorrect notions that we've learned through history. My personal belief is that our current schools is simply an indoctrination system for people to become taxpayers and, obedient little workers. And you may or may not think that the current educational system for our children is spot on. I certainly believe that it could do with a bit of an upgrade. And so one of the people out there that are talking, very strongly on this topic is Santos Bonacci. When we were in the car, Shay, as you mentioned, we were looking at how the ancient arts of, call it Kundalini energy, awakening energy, expertise in general. And this is my specialty. My specialty is to study what energy is, who we are, and how we can have optimal peak performance in not just one, but all of the 8 areas of life. Because all 8 areas of life, everything is energy. Physical health is energy, mental and emotional is energy, the thoughts that we're having, the feelings we're feeling, they're all electromagnetic and they're all energy. Finances is energy, the relationship is energy, our personal development and our lives and how we live our lives is all based on our energy, how our internal environment is interacting with our external environment. Our career, vocation, and our mission is energy. Our spiritual fulfillment and our grace and our presence within is energy. And of course, time, which is considered a very limited resource, 168 hours of the week, and the opportunity to live in the present moment. Everything is energy. And so I shared one of the videos that Santos did with Shay about how to move the seed of life, how to move this Kundalini life force energy from the lower parts of our bodies, call it the 3 lower energy centers, that spark of life, how to move that seed up the spine for it to eventually, as the caduceus spirals up the spine. This is known as the Ida and the Pingala. The Pingala being more so the masculine, the Ida being the feminine, as far as I understand. And this duality of yin and yang spiraling up the spine, originating from the 2 parts of the ovaries or each of the testicles, and eventually meeting the brain, where if you are able to do a very specific practice, according to Santos, and I'm of course paraphrasing, if you're able to live in a very certain way, if you live healthy, if you avoid alcohol, if you reduce stress, if you stay away from harmful toxins, electromagnetic frequencies, and other things that are very prevalent in our society right now, if you don't spill your seed and lose your energy in that sense, you may be able to bring life force up to the ventricles in the brain to secrete a biophysiological and bioendocrinology a bioendocrinology, I can't even say the word, a body hormonal response is what I'm trying to say. A change to your bio and not even going to try, your endocrine system, to change your biophysiology so that you can have an opportunity to secrete what Santos has discovered. And I can't verify this. This is what we're talking about as part of the hypothesis. Secrete this Christos, this Christ oil from the brain, which supposedly may rejuvenate your system and kind of be the elixir of life. Nonetheless, what I can tell you is, this is my personal belief, that we are operating in the 3 low energy centers. As per my conversation with Dr. Joe Dispenza when I met with him in Cancun a couple of years ago, he said 95% of all life force, now we've got to remember everything is energy, and Dr. Joe Dispenza said 95% of all life force energy is stuck in the 3 lower centers. It's my personal belief that this is true. It's my personal belief that we're operating, in human existence is operating in the 2, maybe 3 at the very most, lower energy centers. And if and when we're able to move that life force into the heart, the torus field opens and we begin to live in the magic of the moment. Santos has been studying this for 30 years, called it Syncretism. And one of the practices is what we can do to awaken, what we can do to come home to the truth of our own ontological being. So my question for everyone watching is, what kind of questions would you like us to ask a man like Santos Bonacci? Shane, thoughts?
Deep question. I've been pondering this for the last few months since we watched that first video in the car together. He seems like an incredible man with so much deep research and knowledge on these topics of ascension, biohacking, biochemistry, really looking at the body and stories, human stories from religious times, theologian times, but also bringing it back into understanding the astrological elements of all the stars and the planets and the sun, and how the energy of the human resonance actually affects and impacts us on a biological level. And so this is really exciting conversation that's going to be unveiled very shortly. He also covers a lot of things that you teach as well, Dr. Espen, particularly around the magnetism and
Yes.
Understanding that, that, as you said before, everything is energy, and understanding how we can harness the natural energy of the universe and the laws of nature to impact our own lives. And so maybe you could go into that a little bit more, understanding the electromagnetism of our human being and the planet.
Absolutely, I'd love to. And this absolutely blew my mind. When I got this, I realized that I had been wasting a tremendous amount of life force, tremendous amount of energy, tremendous amount of money, tremendous amount of time trying to manifest with an incomplete formula. Okay. And I'll give you some context to this. Dr. Wayne Dyer, some of you may know the late great Dr. Wayne Dyer, he was asked to be a part of the movie The Secret. And when he looked at the script of the movie The Secret, he said, no, he said, I won't be part of the movie The Secret because one, yes, the law of attraction is real. As I say, it's the third law of the 12 universal laws. And Dr. Wayne Dyer said, yeah, the law of attraction is real, but the way it's presented is incomplete. Let me give you some context. In the human body, we are literally made up of trillions of cells, and each of these cells have a little energetic field around them called the torus field. We are basically a whole bunch of electromagnetic fields in one field. Okay, the Earth is also an electromagnetic being. We have the North Pole and the South Pole. If you look at a battery, it has a plus and a minus. Okay, now stay with me because this is absolutely life-changing. The plus, if you will, is the masculine. The negative, if you will, is the feminine. Now we know that there's a yin and a yang. Okay, now if you have a battery with two pluses, do you get any power out of that battery? And of course, the answer is going to be no. If you have a battery with two minuses, do you get any power and empowerment out of that battery? And of course, the answer is going to be no. Here's one of the greatest problems that we have. One, we are either, for those listeners, viewers, you are either too much in the feminine or too much in the masculine. Too submissive, perhaps too passive in the feminine, or too overpowering, too much dominant in the masculine. And so in one of the other universal laws is the law of duality, or the law of gender, if you will. That speaks to the fact that we have to have coherence between the thought, which is the masculine. Can you unmute your microphone, brother? This is getting some static there. So we have to unmute. Oh my God, I'm flowing. We have to create coherence between the thought, which is the masculine, and the emotion, which is the feminine. And when Dr. Wayne Dyer, and you might want to take a note on this, when Dr. Wayne Dyer was asked to be a part of the movie The Secret, he declined. He said, no, because what we are teaching, what the movie The Secret is teaching, and I love the movie, don't get me wrong, I'm just quoting Dr. Wayne Dyer. He said the movie The Secret focuses on one element, which is the masculine thought, intention-based aspect of manifestation, which is, you know, I want $1 million, I want $1 million, I want a healthy body, I want a healthy body. That's the thought, yes, the electrical signal, the masculine. And the feminine, which is the emotion, instead of I want $1 million, is the feeling is, shit, I need money. And so just to be clear, the thought is, I want more money. The feeling is, we don't have enough. We don't feel safe. The thought is, I want to be healthy. That's the intention. The feeling is, I'm not well, so I need to be more well. So what we have is an incoherence between the thought, the masculine or the electric, as far as I understand, and the feminine, which is the emotion, which is the magnetic, the electromagnetic, masculine, feminine, thought and emotion. And this is the reason why Dr. Wayne Dyer turned it down. He said it's an incomplete truth because it only teaches one part of it. And this is what I refer to as the real secret. And Santos does this so beautifully. He talks to how the Ida and the Pingala, there's this spiraling serpent coming up the spine from the two parts of the nervous system, meet in the brain. And I may be wrong, and I would hear more from Santos on this, but from my studies, as I understand, the Pingala is related to the pineal gland. So one aspect is the Ida, the other one's the Pingala of the spiraling energy. One goes to the pituitary gland, one goes to the pineal gland. One is the electric, which I understand to be the pineal gland, and the other one is the magnetic, which I understand to be the pituitary gland. And just like when you have two pluses, no power, two minuses, no power in the battery. You with me still? If you're able to create coherence between the heart and the brain, the lower self, the higher self, the masculine and the feminine, the electric and the magnetic, you are able to have a plus and a minus, an electromagnetic field, and what you get is empowerment. So there's a lot to this conversation, but I think Santos will shine a lot more light on how we can be masterful of our own energy. Because you've got to remember, friends, the external reality, if you want to have better health, if you want to have more wealth, if you want to have better relationships, you want to find your purpose, you want to be happy, all of the external stuff is a direct reflection of the internal energy. So energy mastery has become my absolute highest value over the last 2 years. I want to understand energy. I want to understand how to live in coherence and congruence with my higher self. I want to be able to manifest grace and love and presence as a being living a human experience as an expression of God. For me, my language, I give all glory to God. I take no credit, take no blame. I just keep focusing on the chief aim, and that's to awaken the people to their own energy and potential. And some of the work that I've been studying, as Shay said before, with Santos, may be a piece, potentially a very important piece in energy mastery.
That is huge. Great drop there, Dr. E. Love that, what you shared, man. It's so true. And something that I take away and inspired by your life is, embodying that practice for myself. And I hope that this becomes a beacon of inspiration for all of you out there listening. Again, we just had Renee drop in a question there for Santos. And if any of you have a question that you would love to ask him, if you had the possibility to sit down, or maybe even ask Dr. E, write down in the comment sections what you would ask. I'd also like to explore, just before we close up here, is something that I've noticed Santos Bonacci really speak out about, which Espen mentioned at the beginning of this conversation, is understanding the truth, deciphering the difference between a truth and a lie. And as we understand the Hawkins scale of consciousness, anything below 150 hertz, the person, if you're resonating at that level, you can't actually distinguish the difference between a truth and a lie.
This is so important, guys. Can you say that again, Shay? And please listen carefully, guys, as Shay says this. The difference between your intellectual mind being able to discern a truth from a lie. And here it goes. Say that again, bro. This is huge.
Yeah, you got it, man. You know it. Yeah.
Can you share that again? What happens
Absolutely.
when we're at the frequency? Share that again with us, please.
Yeah, anything, if we're vibrating lower than 150 hertz, we can't actually distinguish the difference between a truth and a lie. So we could be told lies over and over again, and we'd just would process it as a truth, and we would take that and take that as a belief for ourselves.
This
Powerful
is huge
stuff. And so it's magic. We've got Monica tuning in, saying, boom. Thanks, Monica. Thanks for joining us. We got Consi, amazing, Dr. Espen. I agree with you. But part of the reason why we jumped into the journey of creating conscious content and creating this media platform was primarily so that we can get the truth out there. We believe that the truth needs to be told to the people. And that's why we created this uncensored, independent platform, which Dr. E TV is a part of. And we've got huge amount of videos of truth tellers, truth seekers, people who are doing the deep research, not just externally on the internet, but internally on themselves, doing the deep inner work. And we're really excited to share that there's so many practices that Dr. E has been sharing on this, but it included the likes of Bruce Lipton and Dr. Christiane Northrup and so many more. And it's really, really exciting. We would love for you to come on this journey. We know now that there is a lot of censorship happening out there when the truth does get told. And so we're just navigating this really cautiously, but we want to get this out there to the masses as well. So Dr. E, maybe you could share a little bit more on the importance of having truth-telling media platforms in today's climate.
Yeah, well, where do you even start without saying too much? A friend of mine said it, and I'll just quote her, and you can, I'll just leave you with this, and you may not resonate with this or not, but she basically said, just look at the mainstream media, and whatever they're saying, just think the opposite, and you probably find the truth. You know, and I can't say that that's accurate or not, but it's something to consider. And what I will say is that the media is so heavily biased at the moment that you will not find anything but one very specific narrative. That's it. That's the only thing. And that is never the truth. There is always two sides to the story. In duality, there's always the case. So you just forget about this one-sided narrative. That's BS. Don't even take our word for granted. Like, do your own research. But what we did, guys, and this is where we're really excited, and it's gaining so much traction. Shay, the work that you're doing with Earth Heroes, the interviews that you've got, like I looked at some of the world leaders, some of the real physicians, some of the real doctors that are speaking out, that are experts in their field. You won't find it. You won't find it on any media platform apart from the uncensored ones. Why? Because the truth will set you free. And so what you've done, bro, is amazing. There are thousands of videos. Dr. ETV is one channel as a part of Earth Heroes TV. And we made an absolute no-brainer. It's $20, $19.99 per month, cancel anytime, for you to get access to thousands of yoga videos, meditation, breath work, Dr. ETV, and all the interviews that we've got. In the chat section, click the link, pop in there. Even the presentation that I did a little while ago, which is gaining a lot of momentum, which is the one called Unmasking the Money Matrix, and showing you the truth behind the scenes of what's happening, showing you how to prepare for the pretty much inevitable complete collapse of the current fiat system, what we call the money system, and many other things. Yesterday, I did a video there, which is talking to the specific health tests that you want to get on a regular basis that your GP won't give you unless they're an integrative wellness-based holistic MD, unless you have a really good naturopath or a physician of sorts. But most people don't know these 4 things that I did a case study of over 100 patients, and 90+% of these 100 patients were all deficient in these 4 things. You don't know what they are, you're going to go your entire life not knowing about these, right? So pop into Dr. ETV, learn about what these 4 deficiencies are, learn how to go to your GP or naturopath, and how to get these tests done. And there's so many resources there, including this video coming soon with Santos Bonacci. So it is an absolute privilege doing this work with you, Shay. It's an absolute honor, and just learning about, you know, the 8 areas of life and how to have mastery in these different areas of life. I'm just absolutely blown away. So again, a privilege and a pleasure to hang out with you guys. Pop into Dr. ETV, subscribe, $20 a month. Everyone can afford it. Watch the videos, follow the activities that we give you on a regular basis. And as I said, the expansion of your consciousness, the quality of your 8 areas of life is inevitable.
Yeah, thanks so much again, Dr. E, and everyone watching this episode today. We will look through the comments over the next couple of days. So if you are watching this, just, again, leave us a question that you would like to ask Santos Bonacci, and we'll look through those questions, and we have the opportunity to ask him in the coming days.
Yeah. And remember, guys, that, and again, this is just my opinion, we know through science that what we believe we will achieve, because all of our cells, trillions and trillions and trillions of cells, our unconscious mind, which is completely open to suggestion, as well as the quantum field, a field of divine intelligence that makes up 99.9% of who and what you really are, proven by science for over 100 years now. This field that is you, this you, it has an awareness. It has a consciousness. You are a conscious, live, breathing being. And within this comes the opportunity to understand that what we believe, what we place our attention on, is what we are creating. So you can choose to see what's happening in the world now as, you know, you're a victim of what the politicians are doing, and this is one. No. Just put that aside and know that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and maybe, just maybe, what's happening in the world right now is what I believe it is, just my opinion, the Great Awakening. Maybe. But whatever you believe, you will achieve, because all of your cells, the unconscious mind, and the quantum field, which gives you back what you put out, is listening. So choose to be impeccable with what you believe. Choose to focus on the things that are love and light. Right now, if you want to change the world, just meditate every day and send love and peace to those people that you don't feel like is doing the right thing. And you are already experiencing you as the hero that you've been waiting for. You don't need to go out and do all these crazy things. You just need to meditate and send love to yourself and send love to those who need it the most. And you're literally changing the grid, literally changing the field. That's how powerful you are. And soon we'll hear from Santos as to how to move this energy up to the higher self, to capitalize on how to connect with source and whatever else will come from that interview. And as Monica says, yeah, shift happens when we are heavily meditated. I'm pumped to see you guys again soon. Head over to Dr. ETV now. Subscribe, $20 a month, gain access to the hundreds and hundreds and I think even thousands of videos that are in there now. And please enjoy real uncensored conscious media. And looking forward to seeing you soon.
Bless, Dr. Reed. Thank you so much.
Blessings to you, beautiful man.